Lieutenant Paul Baker was no stranger to the solitude of space. As a seasoned human soldier in the Earth Alliance, he had spent countless hours patrolling the fringes of known space. The Elysium, his sleek, advanced reconnaissance ship, moved silently through the void, its design optimized for stealth and efficiency. Its metallic surface gleamed under the distant light of stars, a stark contrast to the blackness that surrounded it. Paul sat in the command chair, his gaze fixed on the ship's holographic display, which showed a vast expanse of uncharted territory. His mind wandered over the details of his mission, a routine surveillance of a sector known for occasional pirate activity. The monotony of the assignment had begun to weigh on him. The silence of the ship was punctuated only by the soft hum of the engines and the occasional beep from the console. Suddenly, a distress signal cut through the silence. The transmission was fragmented, but the desperation in the voice was unmistakable. It was a scream, a raw, unfiltered cry of anguish that seemed to echo through the vast emptiness of space. Paul's heart raced as he quickly reviewed the transmission's source. The signal was coming from a nearby sector, an area known for its perilous conditions and pirate activity. Paul's orders were clear: maintain surveillance and avoid unnecessary engagements. The Earth Alliance's non-interference policy was strict, designed to avoid entanglements that could lead to diplomatic conflicts or draw them into unnecessary wars. However, the distress signal was unlike anything Paul had ever heard. It was a plea for help, and the urgency in the voice was enough to override his standing orders. Without hesitation, Paul altered the Elysium's course, setting a trajectory towards the source of the distress signal. As he approached, the sight that greeted him was both heartbreaking and unsettling. The transport ship, a once pristine vessel now battered and broken, floated derelict in the void. Its hull was scarred with deep gashes, and debris drifted lazily in the zero-gravity environment. Paul docked with the damaged ship, the connection between the two vessels creating a soft thud. He cycled through the airlock and entered the vessel, his heart heavy with the anticipation of what he might find. The scene inside was a grim tableau of devastation. The corridors, once orderly and clean, were now smeared with blood and littered with debris. Bodies floated in the zero-gravity environment, their lifeless forms a haunting reminder of the violence that had occurred. As he moved through the ship, Paul's attention was drawn to the rear compartment. There, amidst the wreckage and chaos, he found 5 alien females. Each of them was a striking embodiment of their respective species, and their plight was immediately apparent. Lyra, a jade-skinned warrior with flowing silver hair, looked both regal and haunted. Her eyes were filled with a mix of defiance and despair. Mira, a delicate blue-skinned girl with gossamer wings, seemed fragile but had an air of quiet determination. Ember, a fierce redhead with pointed ears, displayed an intense, burning spirit despite her evident exhaustion. Naya, the petite feline humanoid, had an inquisitive look mixed with a sense of alertness. Zara, the chrome-scaled reptilian woman, exuded a silent, commanding strength. Despite the strict non-interference policy of the Earth Alliance, Paul felt an overwhelming sense of compassion and responsibility. The sight of these survivors, their faces etched with fear and hope, ignited a resolve within him. He approached them with a soothing tone, offering what little comfort he could in the face of their trauma. Communication was challenging due to the language barrier, but Mira's use of a sketchpad provided a breakthrough. Using simple drawings, Paul began to bridge the gap between their worlds, and gradually, they started exchanging words and stories. The alien women revealed their tragic histories through a mix of verbal and visual communication. They came from worlds where individuality was suppressed and conformity was enforced by authoritarian regimes. Their societies had been marked by oppression and persecution, driving them to flee their homelands in search of freedom. Their journey had been a harrowing one, fraught with constant danger and relentless pursuit. As they shared their stories, Paul learned that they were the last of their kinds, survivors of a cruel fate that had wiped out their peoples. Just as Paul began to understand the depth of their suffering, the ship's distress beacon activated again. This time, the message was from a human freighter under attack by the same pirates who had pursued the alien women. Paul faced a critical decision: adhere to his orders and avoid involvement, or risk everything to help those in need. The urgency of the situation and the bonds he had formed with the refugees compelled him to act. Paul decided to assist the freighter. The ensuing battle was chaotic and intense. As Paul piloted the Elysium with precision, the alien women used their unique abilities to aid in the fight. Lyra's combat prowess was evident as she deflected enemy fire with her staff and engaged in close-quarters combat. Mira's wings created protective barriers that shielded their ship from incoming blasts. Ember unleashed fiery attacks that wreaked havoc on the pirate ships. Nia's agility allowed her to navigate through the chaos and assist where needed, while Zara's strategic mind coordinated their efforts, ensuring they worked together effectively. Despite their combined efforts, the battle was far from over. Their victory was short-lived, and their arrival at Novaterra was met with a grim reception. Admiral Riker, Paul's former commanding officer, demanded a full explanation for his actions. The alien women were immediately quarantined, and Paul was separated from them. As he was led away, he realized the gravity of the situation. His decision to help had potentially placed the refugees in even greater danger. The quarantine facility was a stark, clinical environment, guarded by heavily armed personnel. The aliens were confined to high-security chambers, their movements and interactions closely monitored. Paul was left in a state of frustration and concern, knowing that the refugees' safety was now in jeopardy. The facility buzzed with activity as Admiral Riker's forces prepared for the next phase of their operations. As the days passed, tension mounted. Paul's separation from the refugees was marked by a growing sense of helplessness. Lyra and her companions, however, were far from resigned to their fate. They mounted a desperate resistance against their captors, fighting with the same determination that had seen them through their previous trials. Despite their bravery, they were eventually overpowered by the sheer force of Admiral Riker's troops. In a final, daring move, Mira managed to remotely access a nearby cargo ship and initiate an escape plan. The freighter, now their temporary refuge, drifted through uncharted space. The situation was dire. Supplies were low and the crew was exhausted. They navigated through the void, searching for a safe haven while being pursued by Riker's forces. Their luck changed when they encountered a derelict alien vessel floating in the emptiness. The vessel was ancient and battered, but it held the promise of crucial information. Inside, they discovered research logs detailing experiments on cosmic energy and a mysterious force known as the Ether Force. The logs revealed that the Ether Force was not only a powerful energy source, but also a key to understanding their enemies' motives and potentially altering their fates. With their pursuers closing in, Paul and his companions were forced to make a critical decision. They charted a course to a distant system, hoping to evade their enemies and find answers. Their destination was Draxus, a harsh desert planet with a reputation for being both treacherous and enigmatic. Upon their arrival, the harshness of Draxus was immediately apparent. The planet's desert landscape was unforgiving, with scorching temperatures and relentless sandstorms. The survivors sought refuge in a remote outpost, hoping for a brief respite from their ordeal. However, their brief relief was shattered when the outpost came under attack by forces led by a faction known as the Zith. The battle for the outpost was fierce and grueling. Paul and his companions fought valiantly against the attacking forces, but their situation grew increasingly desperate. The desert environment posed additional challenges, with the extreme heat and shifting sands complicating their defense. Vrax, a mysterious armored figure who had appeared in their time of need, revealed crucial information about the Ether Force. He explained that it was a powerful cosmic energy source with the potential to alter the balance of power in the galaxy. As the outpost fell, Paul and his group were forced to flee into the desert. The harsh environment tested their endurance and resolve. Zephyr, a skilled scout who had joined their ranks, detected an unusual energy signature emanating from the sands. She led them to an ancient ruin, buried beneath the shifting dunes. The ruins were a marvel of alien architecture, with intricate symbols and advanced technology scattered throughout. Inside, they discovered a hidden chamber containing the obelisk, an ancient artifact pulsing with enigmatic energy. Paul's eyes were drawn to the obelisk, sensing its potential. "It's some kind of defense system!" he shouted, his voice barely audible over the din of battle. He dashed towards the controls, dodging blaster bolts and debris. As Paul activated the obelisk, it began to hum with energy, forming a protective barrier around the chamber. The barrier repelled the attacking forces, creating a temporary haven amidst the chaos. The chamber fell silent, but alarms soon blared, indicating dropping oxygen levels. Mira, weakened from the battle, looked at Paul with concern. "The barriers sealed us in completely," she reported, her voice strained. "We have maybe an hour of breathable air left." Paul's gaze was fixed on the pulsing obelisk. He recalled Zephyr's warnings about the cosmic essence and knew they had to tap into the energy source to survive. "We need to harness that power," he said firmly. "It's our only chance." With grim determination, Paul prepared for the next phase of their escape. Zephyr reluctantly agreed to assist, her ancient chants resonating through the chamber as she invoked the power of the obelisk. The chamber was bathed in an otherworldly light as the cosmic energy surged around them. Paul felt his consciousness expand, touching the very fabric of the universe. The energy coalesced, and Mira's form flickered between corporeal and ethereal states, becoming a conduit for the cosmic essence. In a climactic surge of power, Mira unleashed a beam of cosmic energy that obliterated the Zith command ship. The chamber's unstable singularity began to collapse, forcing Paul to stabilize Mira's form as the ruins crumbled. They had to act quickly as the bronze troops breached the chamber. "We need to leave this system immediately," Vrax urged, his voice urgent. "Bronze and Zith forces are still hunting us." Paul activated the sanctuary's navigational array, plotting a course to an uncharted nexus on the galactic fringe. As they departed, Paul looked at his companions. Mira, radiating cosmic power; Zephyr, anxious yet resolute; Ember, steadfast and fierce; Nia, alert and perceptive; and Zara, now committed to their cause. Teleporting to the nexus, they found themselves on an alien world of crystalline spires and floating islands. The Rachnar, led by Anx, welcomed them with a mix of reverence and concern. "We have foreseen your coming," Anx said, her eyes filled with ancient wisdom. The Rachnar guided them to a secluded glade where Mira underwent a grueling ritual to stabilize her cosmic essence. The ritual was a transformative experience, connecting Mira to the cosmic forces that flowed through the universe. Paul dedicated himself to understanding the cosmic energies, practicing channeling the ethereal currents and expanding his mind into realms beyond comprehension. He learned that he was part of a larger cosmic balance, his role vital to maintaining equilibrium in the galaxy. Weeks passed, and Paul's abilities grew. Zephyr revealed an ancient prophecy that spoke of a human destined to wield the cosmic essence and restore balance to the universe. The weight of this prophecy was heavy, and Paul grappled with the enormity of his new role. His thoughts were interrupted when the Enclave was attacked by a new wave of pirates. Their advanced technology bypassed the Rachnar's defenses, leading to chaos and destruction. Amid the turmoil, Mira unleashed a final wave of power, but her physical form began to disintegrate. Paul watched in horror as Zephyr sacrificed herself to stop the stellar rift dissolver, creating a rift through which they could escape. The rift twisted reality around them as they plunged through it, emerging near a cluster of black holes. The black holes' gravitational forces drained Mira's energy, and the sky shimmered with the approach of Chilthari warships. The battle was fierce, with Paul and his companions fighting desperately to survive. Mira, now a being of pure cosmic essence, fought alongside them, her power a crucial asset in the conflict. In a final, desperate effort, Mira unleashed a devastating attack that scattered the Chilthari forces. However, the strain on her essence was too great. She was torn apart, her physical form disintegrating but leaving behind her pure cosmic essence. Paul absorbed her essence, intertwining their souls and gaining immense power. With the Chilthari forces defeated, Paul and his battered team set a course for the outer galactic rim. As they navigated away from the black hole cluster, Paul gazed out into the star-studded void. The cosmic energies within him were a constant reminder of the greater challenges that lay ahead. With Mira's essence flowing through him and a renewed sense of purpose, Paul prepared to face whatever trials awaited them in the vast, uncharted expanse of the galaxy. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, but Paul and his companions were determined to face them together. The galaxy was a vast and dangerous place, but with their combined strength and the cosmic power at their disposal, they were ready to confront the unknown and strive for a future where peace and freedom could prevail. As they set their course for the galactic rim, Paul reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. The trials they had faced had forged unbreakable bonds between them. Lyra's bravery, Mira's sacrifice, Ember's fierce determination, Nia's insightful guidance, Zara's strategic acumen, and Vrax's unwavering support had all contributed to their survival. Paul knew that their path would not be easy. The galaxy was a place of immense beauty and danger, and their quest for peace and freedom was far from over. The challenges they had faced were only the beginning of a much larger struggle. Yet, with the cosmic essence within him and the strength of his companions by his side, Paul felt a renewed sense of hope. As the Elysium sailed through the stars, Paul looked forward to the adventures that awaited them. The galaxy was vast and uncharted, and their journey was far from over. With each new challenge, Paul and his team would continue to fight for a future where the light of hope shone brightly amidst the darkness of the cosmos. Subscribe to discover more sci-fi stories like this.